Well, parts of New Orleans are in the dark now. Hurricane Katrina moves across the city itself. Winds sustained around 150 miles per hour with gusts about 185 and a storm surge that is being called catastrophic.
So when you hear it's been 20 years, is that hard to believe?
Big time.
It is hard to believe.
Hurricane slammed ashore about an hour ago now.
This is certainly going to be a serious storm to be reckoned with.
The images, though, they're like seared in.
I don't want to die like this.
This is not a test. This is the real deal.
For me, you guys know, I live there, so yeah. I knew that street. I know that convention center well. The Superdome was in tatters.
And Amy is from Louisiana too, right?
She is. She grew up in one of the places that was hit the hardest. The house she grew up in had 8 foot of water in it.
Where was she at that point, Joe?
We were here, and we had family here. We had her family here.
So they all left there and came here.
Right, some of the family
When
did.
the storm warning started coming in.
Yeah, okay. Exactly.
Thank you, and as you can imagine, many people getting out of New Orleans, going into Texas and going.
There really aren't many options left, so they're having to go from place to place, beg for a room, really, and find out.
We had her mom, her sister and her sister's in-laws, a friend, one of her best friends, one of my best friends from college.
All at your house?
So all at my house. It was actually hard for me to not go there, you guys. But we had work to do here, and I couldn't go, and we had people there. But it was hard to watch it from afar for me.
But Pete, you did go there.
Yeah, I was there for a little over a week. Got there before it made landfall.
For that, let's go to Pete Delkus, our own Pete Delkus there.
Those outer bands of Katrina now affecting us. You're absolutely right.
We were all on a Southwest flight out of love, but we were the only people on the plane. Literally, the Channel 8 people were there with nobody else. And then I felt like I was in this weird movie, because there's nobody there. At that time, Katrina was the most powerful hurricane ever recorded in the Gulf of Mexico. Now, of course, I'm married, I've got 2 little kids, I've got like a 5-year-old, I've got a 7-year-old at home, and I'm like, what am I getting myself into? And it was truly, it was a bit frightening.
And Chris, you were with CNN at the time, right?
Yeah, I was with CNN.
The quietest it's been right now this morning in quite a long time, right here on Canal Street. We're right here on the edge.
When the levees broke, I called into Atlanta and they said, we're trying to get into some of these neighborhoods and areas that are underwater, see if you can rent a boat. And so I went around all these places trying to rent a boat. I couldn't rent a boat, but I found a place that was selling a boat. And so I called in and I said, well, they have one for sale. It's like $6,000. And she said, buy the boat, buy the boat. So I put the boat on my credit card and I figured out how to hitch the boat to the SUV. And that's what I drove into New Orleans.
I want to tell my wife. Oh, I love her.
What did you see in the water? I mean, I understand you saw bodies.
Yeah, I saw, I can't even count, but you saw bodies in the water, bodies laying on the street where that part of the water had receded. We were right outside the convention center and people were dying. I kept looking around saying, I can't believe we're in America.
Yeah. That's exactly right, Chris. That's exactly what I thought when I saw that. Because we have a satellite truck with us, so we could see the live feeds of the crews that we had in New Orleans, and I'm watching them there at the convention center and at the Superdome. I'm like, this can't be in the United States. I can't believe that this is taking place.
Yeah, you hate that the people of New Orleans had to go through that pain that, by and large, was none of their fault. Through no fault of their own, they had to literally go through hell.
So New Orleans didn't take the brunt of the storm, but the after effect was horrendous. I don't think, and no one could have ever, fathomed that or, predicted that.
Levees that didn't hold, and all those homes in the 9th Ward and other places that were built in such low-lying areas.
Well, a city below sea level.
And that's the thing for our viewers who don't know. I mean, it's like a saucer of a teacup. I mean, the city is below sea level, and once those levees breached, all that water just flows in. Water's going to flow to its lowest level, and it did to so many of those homes. Seeing the Superdome the way it was, and it had become this symbol of the failure. That was so tough, but to see New Orleans, sorry.
It's your second home.
They rebuilt, and it showed something that I knew about the city. Hardworking people, good people who've been through a lot. You know, there's not a whole lot of Fortune 500 companies in that entire state. People there have to work hard, you know, so the resilience that they showed, and that building kind of became a symbol.
That's what gives me hope, is when you see our country come together like that, and you see them just embrace someone who has just been beaten down and has just had some really horrible things happen, and you see these other people come in and lift them up. I mean, that's what gives me hope.